If you click on this video, then you are obviously interested in pH. Either something is not going right with your plants, or you're trying to level up your game and you want to learn a bit more about pH. Now, if you are the wunderkind of pH testing, A, I would question why you even clicked on this video, and B, this is not the video for you. So my point in making this video was to introduce to people why you should probably be testing your pH. It's something, in my opinion, that is not talked about enough when you buy these systems like an AeroGarden. There just isn't enough talk about why you should be testing pH. And I think you should be. I am not the wunderkind of pH testing either. I want to just share what I've learned as I continue to learn, and this will not be the only video I make on this subject, but this is the first one. I've also picked up a fancy schmancy Blue Lab pH pen, and I will do a separate video of unboxing and using that. This is more just about the why. And I'm also going to be doing a companion video to this one on EC testing, which is another thing that is a good thing to test for that is not talked about. And the EC testing is talked about even less than pH testing. That's okay, because we're going to learn together, and hopefully this video can help get you started on the path to testing pH and having healthier, stronger, better plants, which is what we all want. And if you are the wunderkind of pH testing and are still watching this video, if you have some helpful hints, go ahead and put them in the description below. And before all of the AeroGarden nutrient diehards come at me in the comments, just because it says, and I don't see it on the bottle, but I've had it brought up many times, that the AeroGarden nutrients are pH buffered, that does not mean you should not test your pH. Well, we'll talk about that more in a bit. So knowing the pH of your solution is going to be important because it's going to let you know how acidic or how alkaline your nutrient solution is. Some plants like it more acidic, some plants like it more alkaline, but if you are not sure, it is best to kind of keep it in the middle, and a good middle range, I will put it down below, is somewhere between 5.5 and 6.5. This is one of the reasons that it can be good to kind of narrow down what you are growing. If you're trying to grow everything in the same unit, then it is going to be harder to tailor the pH to the plant, and you're going to have to go more in that kind of neutral, kind of make everybody happy zone. If, on the other hand, you have fallen victim to AeroGarden math and you have a bazillion systems, it can be a good idea to put like plants with like, at least plants that like the same pH in a specific unit. It just makes it a lot easier because then you can really dial in the pH for those plants and really see them thrive. That said, a pH of 5.5 to 6.5 will generally keep most people happy. So in terms of the pH scale, it goes from 0 to 14, with 0 being acidic and 14 being very alkaline. Right in the middle, we get to 7, which is neutral. And if it's too far to the left or the right of the scale, depending on the plants that you are growing, it is just going to generally not let them thrive, and it's going to make them weaker. And weak plants are going to be more susceptible to diseases and pests, and we don't want that. Now, I have found, at least for me, when starting new things for the first time, it can be very overwhelming, and I tend to avoid things when I get overwhelmed, which is not good. So if you are feeling that, then I would encourage you to jump in, face your fear, and if you really want to grow well, this is an important skill to master. And it doesn't mean you need to get it perfect on your first try. I certainly didn't. And there are certain things that are going to make it easier, or they're going to help you along the way. But there are also simpler ways to do it. And even if you tested and did nothing to rectify the issue, at least you would start to see the effects and start to understand what is going on. And that is an important learning step, even if that's just the first step, and then you get more confident and you keep going with this. This is a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and there is always something new to learn. 3 ways that you can test your pH. One are the pH strips. You can find them on Amazon. I will put a picture up over here. Probably the least accurate, but the easiest to use if you are just feeling completely overwhelmed. Not what I would recommend, but if you got to start somewhere, start there, and they are relatively cheap. What you're going to do, it's like a little test strip. It's got different colors on it. You're going to stick it in the nutrient solution, and then you're going to take it out and then see how the colors have changed, and there'll be something where you match it up on the bottle. Now, it's not going to be very good at giving you like small incremental differences, but if your pH is completely out of whack, that should be a good indication. The other one that I like and have used up until very recently is this kit from Root Farm. There are other ones that you can get. There's another one I have in my Amazon cart that I want to pick up and try. But pretty much what this is you get in here a little vial that you're going to fill about halfway with your nutrient solution. And then we have the liquid that's going to go in, and you're going to put 3 to 5 drops in here, and then you will see the liquid in here change color. And then what you're going to do is on the side of the bottle, it shows you the different pHs, and again, you're just going to try and match that up. Now, if you want to get fancy schmancy, you can get one of these. This is a Blue Lab pen. I'll put the link to this one below. It is not cheap. There are cheaper versions of pens. I have bought them. I have tried them. Personally, I have not liked them. But if you have a cheaper pen and it is working, keep doing what you are doing. This is by no means trying to say that you need this expensive thing. I just wanted to nerd out a bit and get the really good ones. Plus, this one's from New Zealand and I was born there, so, yay. But what you have in there is this pen. This gets a lot more complicated. It's not to say you can't do it, but it is more complicated. This is a device that you have to be very careful with. There is at the bottom, if I can take it out in there, if you can see that, there is a little bulb there, and that is blown glass. So you have to be very careful with this. You also have these calibration liquids that you are going to need to calibrate the pen. You are going to get the higher level of accuracy, but you're going to have to do more work in order to achieve that. If this is too overwhelming for you, back it up. Get the Root Farm or the liquid pH tester. Get those little pH strips. It is more important to start checking your pH than to be doing it with the most accuracy that you can have. So you've tested your pH. Your pH could use a little tweaking. What do we do? I like to use these. So we have the pH down, which is the acid base, and then we have the pH up. These are very powerful. Less is so much more. Yeah, I'm actually going to be setting up an experiment because I always like to test things out. And I'm going to be doing both of my AeroGarden sprouts, and I'm going to be doing one with the recommending feeding dosage of the AeroGarden nutrients and just the AeroGarden nutrients. I am not going to check the pH. I'm not going to do anything else. In the other sprout, I'm going to use the AeroGarden nutrients, and I'm going to regularly test the pH and just keep track of how much I actually have to tweak it, because I think that would just be really interesting to actually see when people say it's pH buffered and you don't need to worry about it, to actually see if that is true. I don't think it's true because I've had the pH go way off. So I put on my nerd hat, book nerd, not plant nerd. Well, actually, maybe a bit of both. And I did some digging and created a chart of a lot of the commonly grown hydroponic plants and a good target range for their pH. So if you want to get that, I will put a link in the description below, and hopefully that helps you. And if nothing else, please, 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 please start checking your pH. I truly, truly hope that this video gives you the confidence to start if you have been hesitating. You will grow better if you test your pH. Now that said, I grew for years, years, without ever testing my pH, without testing for EC, without doing anything other than just putting in these nutrients on schedule. So by no means will you not grow if you don't do this. But if you do this, you will grow better.